What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's REI weekly lesson. I'm going to try to keep this video pretty short because, as you'll see in the topic, I'm still a little under the weather, better than I was a couple days ago. But today's lesson is going to be about what lessons did I learn from getting the flu for the week that you can learn and apply in real estate. So I got the flu on Monday and I was pretty much down and out for 3 days, and then even yesterday I felt like crap. Felt better, but didn't feel great. And then even today I'm still a little shaky. So what are some lessons I learned from getting the flu that you can apply in your real estate business? And maybe there's no one's ever even made a video about this. So number one, most calls and texts are not that urgent, right? And they're not even that important, right? So I was bedridden, couldn't really talk, was just sitting there drinking a little bit of Gatorade, taking my temperature. And I realized that, like, even though I wasn't working, right, I was resting, most calls and texts that came in were not urgent and didn't need to get handled, right? Like, they just didn't need to get handled. There was a few tasks that I needed to sort of prioritize that I worked out mostly yesterday and on Monday when I didn't feel horrendous. And those few tasks are the things that are actually going to move the needle. So that's the first thing is you don't need to always respond to people right away or answer the phone live if it's not an urgent call, or get back to people's emails right away. Like when you're doing that, you're reacting to someone else's agenda, and you want to set your own agenda and you want to be proactive, not reactive. So that's lesson number one. Lesson number two is it is valuable when you have a team, especially when you get the flu, because Brett on my team was dealing with sellers all day. And, he was talking to sellers, making offers, and I was basically sleeping in bed and he was making offers. I think he actually got a contract this week too while I had the flu. So you got to have a team. Actually, I take that back. You don't need to have a team, but having a team does become beneficial when you get the flu and you can't work for a week for the most part. So that's lesson number two. And then lesson number three I've learned from having the flu is you don't appreciate your health until you get sick for a week. So I think a lot of people take things for granted. And, when you get the flu and you literally can't get out of bed, you appreciate your health, you appreciate your business, you appreciate a lot of things. So the biggest lesson I think I learned mainly from this is most calls and texts are just not urgent. So I think now going forward, even though I don't have the flu anymore, I'm going to not be as diligent as getting back to people unless it's important, right? You got to understand, that's a big takeaway here, is you got to understand when you get a text, you got to assess it and say, is this important? Yes or no? Is this urgent? Yes or no? If it's a no, maybe don't even respond. If it's a yes, no, you can respond whenever you want. If it's a yes, you should probably respond right away. And what would be an example of something that's urgent and important? Let's say that you have a closing on a Tuesday and you get an email from a title company on a Monday saying the closing documents are inaccurate. In order for us to continue this closing, we need these documents changed right away. That's important because if that doesn't happen, you're not going to have a closing and you're not going to get no money. And number two, it's urgent because it's time sensitive, because the closing in theory would be Tuesday and they're emailing you on a Monday, so there's an actual deadline for success to happen. So you got to understand the difference between important and urgent. So those are my lessons. I hope you got a few takeaways from that. If you're in Northern Nevada or New York or Delaware or San Diego and you have a house you want to wholesale me, or you want to wholesale a house together or whatever, send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, and let's do a deal together. See you on the next video. Bye-bye.